Sarah Johnson, and welcome to Backstage Antiques. On this edition, our panel of experts will be appraising items from the Riverside Brookfield High School community. We have two appraisers with us today, Nancy Lisowski and Brian Hogeveen. Thank you both for being on the program, and please stay tuned for our first appraisal after a few words. Hello, welcome to Backstage Antiques. Tell us your name and a little bit about what you've brought today.
Okay, my name is Karen Williams, and I brought these beautiful perfume bottles that I found at a garage sale a couple of years ago. And I just thought they were, you know, particularly interesting, ornate, girly. So they've just been sitting on my dresser for years.
All right.
Okay, they are a beautiful piece. They were made in New York, probably 1930s. It's gilded. It does have some beautiful designs on it. The tray does need some resilvering on the edges. But unfortunately, the value of items like this have come down just a little bit. So I think I would value it on a good day at an auction between $75 and $100. But it's an absolutely gorgeous piece to have on your dresser.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing your item in.
Thank you.
I'm Mary Lenahan, and I've brought in a piece that my parents purchased around the time of their wedding in the early 60s. I grew up with it, and I love it very much, and I hope you can tell me something about it.
Mary, thank you for bringing your item in today. What you actually have is a lithograph. The original was actually of this piece was done in 1959. The artist is a Dutch artist by the name of Karl Appel. He was also actually a very avid sculptor, and he did actually quite a few of his pieces reside in the Stedelijk Museum in Amsterdam. Your lithograph that you have here is actually numbered 105 of 150, and the title of it is called The Lovers, which makes perfect sense for your parents buying it. Nancy, what do you think this would bring at a good day at auction?
At a good day at auction, I would say between $500 and $1,000.
Great.
Thank you so much for bringing your item in.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello, welcome to Backstage Antiques. Tell us who you are and what you've brought today for appraisal.
I'm Richard Pogvera, and I brought in a set of lead soldiers from the 1940s and 30s. I purchased these at an estate sale a few weeks ago, and I'm just wondering what they're worth.
Sure. Thank you, Richard, for bringing in your items. What you have are 1930s and 40s Barclay lead soldiers, as you could see. This one here would be your oldest piece due to the style of helmet that it has, using the the earlier helmet, the Tommy Boy style helmet, where the rest of them all more feature the M1 style helmet. Which they came in production about 1939, 1940. So the Barclay Company, is based out of New Jersey and produced, these all the way through the 60s, these different type of figurines and so forth. And generally, today, these would bring roughly $5 to $10 a piece.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name's Larry Lisowski. The item I brought in tonight belonged to my great aunt. She was a world traveler, and during one of her voyages to Africa, she acquired this item. From there, went to my grandmother, my mother, then eventually to my family. We don't know too much about the item other than it's very old and it's from Africa.
Well, thank you, Larry, for bringing your item in today. What this is a voodoo statue from West Africa and the Congo region. So this piece is from the late 19th century, early 20th century, and this is known as Nakisi Nakandi. Okay, and it was a primary function of a Nakandi was to be the home of a spirit. Okay, that's what that front portion you see that has the glass is where the spirit could enter and keep its eye in view of everything. So the Nakandi, which was, this statue here to house the spirit, to allow it to travel, hunt down, and harm other people. Now, although that sounds very evil and mysterious, it was used for different purposes, different ways. So many of the Nakandi were publicly held and were used to affirm oaths, to protect villages and other locations from witches and evildoers. If exercised privately for selfish reasons, the use of this power is condemned as witchcraft. So now it would be, essentially, almost could be used against you at that point. But if the power is used publicly by a village or a tribe or political leaders or as a protective measure by innocent people, it is not considered actual witchcraft. Now, if you notice, it's made out of wood, and it has a lot of these plates, and those plates are actually metal, and it has nails that are driven into it, and all those nails are metal. Each one of those plates and or nails represents oaths taken between two people, or two groups of people, or possibly two villages. If the oath is broken, then the Nakandi would come out and attack or befall the person that broke that oath. And it was always viewed in different ways, like illness, maybe their crops failed. They would associate that directly to the Nakandi. And so at a good day at auction, an item like this would bring anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. Wow. And thank you for bringing your item in today.
Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge about my item.
Welcome to Backstage Antiques. Tell us your name and what you've brought today for appraisal.
My name is Robert Williams, and I'm bringing in one of my favorite characters from one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, which is The Forbidden Planet, Robbie the Robot.
So I've noticed you have your instructions still in prime condition. We did check the battery compartment, and it's in perfect condition. Most of these toys, people would leave their batteries in it, and it would start corroding, and yours has no signs of corrosion at all. You have the box, which is amazing, and these actually were made from different boxes, and yours is the most rarest box, which brings the prices up.
Which makes it quite a desirable collectible for a Forbidden Planet Robbie the Robot.
I value this on an auction price, could go all the way from $400 to $600. You have a nice piece here.
Welcome. Tell us who you are and what you've brought to have appraised today, and a little bit about your painting.
Well, my name is Linda Wilk. I reside in this area, and this art piece that I have here, this oil painting, was brought into our shop from a little old lady. She's like, I'm going to say 80 years old, had no idea what it's all about, but it's been in her family. It's an heirloom. She wanted to know some information about it, and she brought it in. So that's all I can tell you at this point.
Well, Linda, we've had an opportunity to review your painting, and what you have is an original oil on canvas done by Paul Neflin. He was originally born in Germany, but eventually moved to the United States and resided in Boston, Massachusetts area. He actually did a lot of fresco-style painting. One of the big ones that he had done was in the Oddfellows Hall in Boston, Massachusetts. But he's actually mostly known for doing portrait paintings. And this particular one that you have was painted about 1875. And then Nancy's going to give you a little bit of information about the condition.
Unfortunately, as amazing as it is, there is some pinpoint holes in the picture which will bring down the condition greatly. Plus, you will notice that the edges are very raw, and it has been repaired in numerous places. Because of that, We, together, we have decided that probably $300 to $500. If it didn't have this mistakes on it, it would have been
Probably 10 times that, $3,000 to $5,000.
Welcome to Backstage Antiques. Tell us your name and what you've brought today for appraisal.
My name is Pam Ferris, and I brought a mousse creamer that belonged to my mother.
Pam, thank you for bringing your item in today. We do appreciate that. So what you have here is a 1930s Czechoslovakian mousse creamer, exactly as you had said. That is made out of ceramic. Now, there would have been more pieces to this set had you had all the pieces, including the coffee and tea server, along with the matching tray. This set would have been quite valuable. But being that you just have the one piece, it might have a value between $10 to $15.
Really?
Yes.
That's it?
That's it. Well, we do thank you for bringing your item in today.
Sure.
Hi, welcome to Backstage Antiques. Tell us who you are and what you've brought for appraisal today.
Hi, my name is Charmian Soto, and I brought in some coins that I've collected over the years. They were handed down from my grandfather to my aunt, who has put me in charge of them, so she would like me to have them appraised.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you for bringing your coins today. What you have are what is known as the Morgan silver dollars. Now, these were minted in Philadelphia, New Orleans. Some were minted in Carson City. Some were minted in San Francisco. The ones that you particularly have here happen to, unfortunately, be the most common ones, with the 1921 actually being the most populous. Between the three mints, there was 86.5 million of these that were actually minted. Of course, the 1921 is also interesting because that's a centennial year for it, which makes it currently a little bit more desirable because the coin is 100 years old today. So the Morgan silver dollars have a retail value of about $30 to $40 a piece on these based on their condition. You also have a Benjamin Franklin half dollar. These were minted from 1948 until 1963. Which these are made out of 90% silver, obviously commemorating Benjamin Franklin. And these also were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. This one would have a value somewhere between $10 and $20. You also have the additional coins you have are the simply known as a buffalo nickel due to the buffalo that was on the design of the back of the coin. These also were minted in the three main mints, which is, of course, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These here, again, are the common dates. And one of them is so worn that the date has worn off. In numismatic circles, the little joke is the rare dateless buffalo. The reality is it was a very common thing to happen to the coin. Since the date was a very common high point, raised point, it would wear down and it would create a dateless buffalo. But the unique thing with this one, at least, is we know that it was minted in Denver because it has the letter D on the back. The ones with dates, the common dates here, 50 cents to $1. The no date one is still worth about a quarter. Your final coin that you have here is actually a dime. Now, the common name for it is a mercury dime. However, it is officially a winged liberty is what this coin actually is. This is also made out of 90% silver, dated 1943. These series actually ran from 1916 until 1945. And this would have a value between $2 to $3. And thank you so much for bringing your items in today.
Thank you.
Welcome to Backstage Antiques.
Thank you.
Tell us who you are and what you've brought today for appraisal.
My name is Judy Wilson, and I brought in a watch that belonged to my grandfather.
It's beautiful.
Well, thank you, Judy, for bringing in your pocket watch today. So what you have here is an 1890 make Elgin pocket watch in a solid 14 karat gold hunter case. That's what these were called when both sides closed. Had this section not been here that opens and closes, they call that an open face pocket watch. Now, that's everything we've said about this makes it very nice, a very special type of a watch, being the fact that most pocket watches that we always encounter are always gold filled. So seeing one that's actually made out of solid 14 karat gold makes it even a little more special. But however, this one, I'm sure as you're aware, is actually engraved on the back. In normal circumstances, sometimes the engraving can actually devalue the watch. In this case, it says that it's a gift to an Edward Burris from P.D. Armour, May 8th, 1891. And of course, as we know, P.D. Armour is the founder of Armour Hot Dog. So this is a pocket watch that he gave as a gift to Edward Burris. This particular pocket watch on auction today would bring anywhere between $3,000 to $4,000.
Wow. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for bringing your item in.
You're welcome. Thank you for appraising it.
You're welcome.
My name is Ellen Vanderhoof, and I brought in this mask that I'm curious about.
Well, the mask is definitely a tourist product. You can tell by how hurried the artist was making it. Probably Mexican. It's considered folk art, but these are actually goat horns, and it was well done, obviously all hand done. And the value's probably $70 to $100.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing your item in today.
Oh, it's great. Thanks.
Thank you for watching Backstage Antiques. It's been a great show, and I think we've all learned a lot about antiques. I would like to thank our guests today who came on the show, and I would also like to thank the appraisers, Nancy Lasowski and Brian Hogeveen, as well as the LaGrange Park Antique Mall for helping coordinate our program. I would also like to thank Riverside Brookfield High School for providing us with this facility, and a big thank you to the RBTV students working behind the scenes to make this show happen. I'm Sarah Johnson, and I hope you all stay tuned for our next edition of Backstage Antiques.